What's up, Know Your Books family? We're back again with another review, and this time we're going to be talking about, there it is. This time we're going to be talking about Mastery by Robert Greene. Super excited to share this review with you guys, especially because I'm a huge Robert Greene supporter. I love his work, I love his writing, and today we're going to see if Mastery actually lives up to its name. But also we're going to look at if this book is as captivating, as convincing as the previous books that Robert Greene wrote, like The 48 Laws of Power and The Art of Seduction. But I also want to tell you guys that this video is an anticipation and celebration of Robert Greene's newest release, or soon to be newest release, on the 23rd of October, The Laws of Human Nature. So I want you to stay tuned because I already pre-ordered my copy of The Laws of Human Nature. Of course, once we actually get the book, we're going to review it and tell you if it's actually worth purchasing or if it is just a overhyped bunch of, Without further ado, let's get into this knowledge. So first impressions is, I would say that the cover looks amazing. It has the usual art. It has the gold on the front, Mastery in front. Just an amazing book cover. Very compelling, very very attractive, I would say, seductive. On the back, it says, "Learn from the masters." And then on top it says the ultimate form of power is mastery, and then it has all the names on the back, basically all the masters that he's talking about in his book. The book looks a lot like its predecessors, The 48 Laws of Power and Seduction. Robert Greene also has other books like The 33 Strategies and The 50th Law. We're gonna get into those maybe in the near future, but for now we're gonna go into Mastery. Anyway, let's get into the contents of this book because I know you guys are waiting for it, all right? Let's get into it right now. Robert Greene starts talking about a form of power that is cultivated through years of hard work, dedication, discipline, and intense focus. A state in which we are highly alert and highly focused, where we are totally absorbed and lost in the project and task at hand. Robert Greene calls this sensation mastery. How do we get into this state? How do we get into the state of mastery? Robert Greene breaks down exactly how you get into the state of mastery. He breaks it down into three distinct phases. First one being apprenticeship, then the creative active phase, and then eventually into mastery. Make it more simple for the people at home. Robert Greene actually broke down his entire book into these phases, but he broke it down into 6 chapters. So the first chapter is talking about your life task, or basically what you can see it as is your purpose. So how to find your purpose. He tells people what the major pitfalls are for people who are trying to find their purpose but are unable to find them. But he also gives advice on how to find your life's task, aka your purpose. Okay, chapter 2, 3, and 4 is the apprenticeship phase, which is the heavy part of the book, which discusses so many topics. We're going to get into it in a little bit. Chapter 5 is talking about the creative active phase, and chapter 6 then goes into mastery. So like Robert Greene's previous books, he uses historical stories and figures to back up his points. He uses people in his book like Freddie Roach, which is a renowned boxing trainer. Also masters of old like Mozart, Napoleon Bonaparte, Edison, Tesla, Darwin, Einstein, and many more. And all these people have, according to Robert Greene, achieved mastery. So as mentioned before, like I said, chapter 1 talks about life's task or purpose. And basically it tells you how to find it and what stops people from finding theirs. But it also goes into how other masters found it as well, which is an amazing part of this book because it keeps showing other people who have gone through the process. It then goes into the heavy part of the book, which is the apprenticeship phase. Robert Greene basically subdivides the apprenticeship phase into 3 distinct phases. 1, deep observation, which is the passive mode. The second phase is skills acquisition, which is the practice mode, and then third is experimentation. But he also gives you strategies on how to get into or how to have an ideal apprenticeship. It tells you what to do, what to avoid, and what attitudes to adopt to fully and effectively learn during your apprenticeship. It goes into things like social intelligence and how to deal with people and how to make sure that you can absorb the information that you're getting more effectively. To the creative active phase, which basically is the phase where you have reached a certain amount of knowledge in that apprenticeship phase, and now you're going into and now you're going to set out on your own because you already have some deep knowledge on particular subjects and skills. He goes into the importance of staying open-minded but also disciplined, talking about concepts such as the original mind, the conventional mind, and dimensional mind. Original mind being the childlike mind, being the creative part, but also the conventional mind, which is the discipline. And the dimensional mind basically mixes those two together and then forms that creates the creative mind, and getting those ideas and basically crossing fields together and stuff of experts and masters. Then goes into mastery. You have found your life's task. You have gone through your apprenticeship with humility, discipline, and the willingness to learn. Now that you have achieved such level of knowledge and independence, now you want to set out on your own. And then you have carved out your path and you have gone on your own. What now? And this is what the mastery chapter is about. But it also becomes a little bit less practical, because I think what Robert Greene is trying to say in these last couple of chapters, or these last couple of paragraphs, is that mastery is not final, and mastery is ever changing. So even though you are a particular master in your field and other people see you as an expert, he keeps saying that it is not a final stage. It is continuously going and learning and updating on your field as long as you are able. You look at the beginning of the book when he talks about the life's task, is that if you live through your life's task, you will always be in that phase. You will always be learning, even if you are a master. So if you are convinced that this book is for you, make sure to go to the link in the description. And let's go into what I think about this book. So guys, what I have to say is that the writing and the structure in this book are impeccable. It's amazing. What he really broke down major concepts in smaller sub-phases, and it's easily understood, and I really like that about the book as well. So I really want to give this the writing a 10 out of 10 because the structure is impeccable. It never made me lost, because in some books that I read I get lost and I'm like, what is he trying to prove or she trying to prove? But in this case I never had that feeling, and it was always a very guide. It's like I had a guide in this book, like a guided journey, right? So it was pretty amazing. Anyway, 10 out of 10 for writing. As usual, Greene's storytelling is compelling, seductive. He pushes you in the middle of the story. It feels like you're right there with the characters in the story, and it also backs up the point that he's trying to make. And I think that is the most amazing part about Robert Greene's writing, is that he uses these historical stories, but also real life examples that actually back up his claim. Storytelling, I would give it a 10 out of 10. After you come out of the book, you know exactly what to do. There are no misconceptions, no mystery, maybe only in the end of the creative active phase, and mastery, where it becomes a little bit more vague, and it actually is more up to the person who is going through the journey. He gives some guidelines on what to follow, but a lot of things he leaves up to the actual reader or the practitioner, rather. So I think when you come off the book, the beginning of the book is pretty clear of telling you what to do. So I think when you come off the book, you know exactly what to do. So practicality, 10 out of 10. It has amazing real life examples. He has references. He had the bibliography in the back, but he also has the biographies of the masters that he interviewed as well, also in the book. So, you know, I really want to tell you guys that part of the actual grading system, a lot of people probably are like, yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it's very important that the stories and the points that he's trying to make coincide, or at least are coherent. So, and in this case, that's true. Mastery does that. Robert Greene does that. So I want to give the credibility a 10 out of 10. Guys, I know that you guys know what's gonna happen right now, but if I would have to grade this book, I would give this book a 10 out of 10 legendary status. And I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of people are probably gonna be pissed off that I gave this book a 10 out of 10. Many people actually don't agree with Robert Greene's worldview, or the worldview he's trying to portray. And I think that, you know, books such as Think and Grow Rich, that I say are legendary status, I think Mastery, this book right here, can sit right next to Think and Grow Rich. It is a book that is thorough, clear, tells you what to do, and it gives also the ideas and stories of masters of old, but also contemporary masters, modern day masters. And I think it can sit right next to Think and Grow Rich, Sun Tzu, and it's a legendary book. Way after Robert Greene's passing, this book is gonna be in that legendary basket, you know, as I think his 48 Laws of Power will be, and his seduction book will be, just because of his storytelling ability. But I also found why Robert Greene actually started writing the laws of human nature. It's the story of Marcel Proust and his infatuation with Augustin Thierry. Okay, so, and I think this is a part of the book where I really start being very obsessive with the content. I think he actually is resonating with a character that he is dissecting in the book by the name of Marcel Proust, who was also quite infatuated with human nature, or kind of obsessed as well, actually. And in the book, he continuously alludes to being very much interested in human nature. And I think that's why Robert Greene is actually writing the book that he's writing right now, which is The Laws of Human Nature. I think that is going to be his magnum opus. I think this is one of the things that is part of his life's task of Robert Greene, and I can't wait to read it. Guys, if this book is for you, Mastery is for people who want to achieve and master, or want to achieve on a high level and want to master their craft, and I think this book can help you along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're here, then you should probably know your books.
If I give you all of me, would I get all of you? If I told you I'm anointed, could you see the proof? Give my heart and soul for you when I'm inside the booth. Feel my love, feel my pain when I'm inside the booth. Would you switch a change on me if you knew the truth? Knowing I ain't the same person that was introduced. Thank the Lord, cause I don't look like what I've been through. Here's a letter to you.